All right, moving on to solving by substitution. So there's three methods we can use when we are solving systems. Graphing, which we've done. The second one is substitution, and then next week you'll move on to elimination. So substitution, we're going to substitute values in to solve for x and y. So if you look at our two equations here, you notice how the first equation says y equals. So we're going to take this value of y and substitute it in for y. So everyone just stop and look at that. The first equation said y equals 3x. So y is equal to 3x. So in place of the y, we're going to write the 3x. So I'm going to rewrite this equation, 6x minus 3. Instead of writing y, I'm putting what y equals, which is 3x. So again, all I did there is I replaced that y with the 3x. Now I'm just going to solve. So I have 6x. I'm distribute 3 times 3x is 9x. I have like terms on the left-hand side. 6x minus 9x is negative 3x. I need to isolate x, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. I have multiplication, the opposite is division. So we get x equals positive 1. Negative 3 divided by 3 is positive 1. So I'm going to start my solution here. X is equal to 1. Now we need to solve for y. I'm going to use this equation because it's a shorter equation. So y equals 3x. Instead of writing x, I'm putting the value I just solved for, which was 1. 3 times 1, which is 3. Let me go back to what I just did there. X equals 1, so now I substituted in for x. So x equals 3. So my solution is 1, 3. In other words, if I were to graph those two lines, they would intersect at the point 1, 3. All right, let's try another one. Looking at the next one, I have y equals x minus 1. So y and x minus 1 are equal. So in place of this y, I'm going to put x minus 1. So that's my first step, is I'm just going to rewrite these equations, or the equation. Negative 4x plus 3. Notice how the y is next, but in place of that, I'm putting x minus 1. So all I did there is I substituted x minus 1 in for y. All right, you guys know how to do this. We distribute. So this negative 4x stays. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1, or negative 1, is negative 3. All right, I have some like terms. I'm going to combine my like terms right here. Negative 4x plus 3x is negative 1x, or negative x. I need to add 3 to both sides. Almost done. So I have negative 1x equals positive 1, but you know I can't have a negative x. So I divide by negative 1, and x is equal to negative 1. So let me start my solution. X is negative 1. Okay, so looking at my equation, I'm going to use this equation because, again, it's a shorter one. So y equals, instead of writing x, I'm putting the value, which is negative 1 minus 1. So let's stop and take a look. X equals negative 1. So I substituted it in. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So there's my y value, and there's my solution. So these two these two lines would intersect at the coordinates of negative 1, negative 2. Negative 1, negative 2. I know it seems like a lot of work, but a lot of this is equations, which is what we've been doing. Let's try another one. All right, I'm going to substitute. So I have y equals negative 4x. So in place, I'm going to put it in the y. So I have 12x plus 3 in place of the y, negative 4x. The right side is negative 6. So I'm going to multiply. We have 3 times negative 4, which is negative 12. All right, on the left-hand side, I have like terms. 12x plus negative 12x. Well, that cancels out. It's 0. So I'm left with 0 on the left-hand side. But if you look, is that a true statement? 0 does not equal -6. So if your variables cancel and you have two numbers that are not equivalent, there's no solutions. So I don't have to go any further. Again, this is only if your variable cancels out and you have two numbers that are not equivalent. All right, let's try another one. Last one. Here's my y value. I'm going to substitute it in. So I have -9x plus 3 times 3x. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 3x, which is 9x. Look on the left-hand side. -9x plus 9x is 0. And the right side, I have 0. So again, my variables cancel out. But this time, the left and the right side do equal each other. 0 equals 0. So this is infinite solutions. Excellent. All right, move on to that shared.